Happy Tuesday, folks. March 16, 2021. You're watching the Daily Mix TV. Hi, my name is Sean Patrick Hillman. I hate it when I'm right. Music's biggest night, in fact, did deliver its lowest ratings in history on Sunday. The Grammy Awards took an extinction-level event ratings hit, dropping 53% from last year's ratings to a measly 8.8 million viewers, according to Nielsen. Now, if the online feedback is any indication, a lot of this has to do with the majority of 18 to 34-year-olds, the advertising sweet spot for networks that air these award shows. They are tired of the politicization of everything. And yes, the pandemic has had an incredibly negative impact on events and shows like this. Between award shows and sporting events, it has been a very difficult time. Ratings for the Golden Globes last month dropped about, just over 60%. Super Bowl had its lowest numbers in 15 years, and the Emmys also recorded their lowest ratings ever. So what does this mean for the networks that spend millions in production, the brands that spend millions in advertising, and the very shows themselves? Well, we're not really going to know the answer to that until the Oscars air next month in order to do a real data dive on the three tent poles of industry award shows, Emmys, Grammys, and Oscars. But my gut tells me it's the same exact problem as what department stores have been facing for a decade. A severe lack of creativity, on-the-ground activation, and far better integrated marketing platforms. Look, the pandemic's going to go away eventually. But for department stores, some have pivoted and actually adapted to the environment, and their online sales are going through the roof. When you look at what's going on in terms of award shows, they have failed to adapt. They have failed to evolve over the last decade to modern consumer tastes. Now, yeah, they've done a lot of shtick and a lot of, gimmicks to try, but it was a half-hearted effort at best. So as an example, the Grammy Awards used to do a lot more integrated promotion with brands like MasterCard. That's the kind of marketing programming that will give the Grammys exposure outside of their normal channels. But unfortunately, it's not been that way in a long time. Same is true of the Oscars and same is true of the Emmys. Now, the constant need to fill the podium with people who only want to talk about a political or social agenda is actually turning viewers off. And as I said yesterday, fans just want to see their entertainment heroes. They don't want to be told who to vote for or, why things are the way they are. It's called entertainment. It's called dialing out. It's called escape. And when the award shows get back to just that, their ratings will go up. Sadly, I just don't see that happening anytime soon. I really hope I'm wrong, and I hope the award shows come roaring back next year, but my gut tells me it's not going to happen. So we've talked about the importance of multiple category and shelf placement in retail, meaning having your products across multiple aisles in stores, specifically grocery and mass market. Now, we've also talked about product innovation, and we've talked about companies evolving both their corporate marketing strategy as well as their products to meet today's consumer demand. Well, today I have the best example possible, and it comes from an iconic American brand, Pillsbury. Woohoo! The General Mills-owned brand is actually making sweet headlines by rolling out, get ready for this, its new soft-baked cookies line. That's right, in a stark departure from the brand's norm. These ready-to-eat sweets are already baked. Now, it's made from a blend of real butter and shortening. Pillsbury's soft-baked cookies come in 4 flavors: chocolate chip, confetti, sugar with drizzled icing, and peanut butter with a chocolatey drizzle. Quote, Pillsbury is a beloved baking brand that has been around for more than 100 years, but its products have never been in the cookie aisle until now. While our fans love baking Pillsbury products in the oven, our consumer research indicates there are times that a ready-to-eat cookie is preferred. We focused on launching Pillsbury soft-baked cookies for that quick treat, knowing there is not always time for baking. And that's Jeff Caswell, who's the president of General Mills' Snacks division. Now, each package of these cookies has 18 cookies included, and it's currently only available at Walmart stores and Walmart.com. These will be rolling out to other retailers starting next month in April. Here's where things are so interesting. Pillsbury is that brand we all know and love. And granted, it's not the first brand you think of when you want a snack or a cookie or whatever. It's the brand you think of when you want to make, crescent rolls or those Southern style biscuits or even cinnamon rolls for the morning, right? And yeah, of course, they have their cookie rolls that you cut and then you bake and things like that. And that's what Jeff was referring to in his quote earlier. Now, here's my point. For them to now pivot and expand into the cookie aisle, as Jeff had said, knowing there's that quick treat, that quick snack, and the flavor that everybody knows and loves in terms of Pillsbury chocolate chip cookies, I think this is a brilliant move for them. Strategically, it gets them into multiple aisles in a grocery store, gets them into multiple sections in a convenience store, perhaps. It definitely gets them outside of their box, their four walls, okay? And that is exactly what marketing needs to be doing right now for a lot of brands. Consumer spending was down 3% last month. I mean, that is a statistic that came out this morning. That is a frightening view as to what tomorrow is going to bring, given the amount of debt people have incurred. Yes, we do know that credit cards have been paid off a lot during this pandemic, but we also know that the majority of folks have been spending their stimulus checks and their unemployment on Amazon and things that really aren't needed. That therefore incurs further debt because you have interest payments on your rent and things like that you may not have been paying. So with Pillsbury pivoting back to this, for them to expand into multiple aisles is very smart from an operational strategic standpoint as well as a marketing strategic standpoint, because it buffers the damage that's done to any retail brand. And right now, the expansion is the name of the game so that you're targeting the consumer across multiple aisles of a grocery or convenience or mass market store in order to capture that sale. So proud of you guys at General Mills and Pillsbury. Loving this new program. Okay, speaking of an iconic brand, it looks like Jeffrey the Giraffe is about to make a comeback. They announced this morning that Toys R Us has a new owner, and one that's actually fully committed to bringing the brand back to its brick and mortar glory days. WHP Global announced that they've acquired a controlling interest in True Kids, which is the parent company to the Toys R Us, Babies R Us, Jeffrey the Giraffe brands, alongside more than 20 related consumer toy and baby brands. So remember, guys, Toys R Us has had that roller coaster ride from hell. For them, this is absolutely stunning news. Last year, right before the pandemic, as you may recall, the company was acquired. We're going to get into this a little deeper. It was acquired and they were able to open for Christmas, but then the pandemic hit. So we'll get back to that in a second. The brand acquisition and management firm, which also owns the Anne Klein and Joseph Abboud brands, said that going forward, it's going to manage the True business and direct its strategic expansion. So thinking about WHP Global and what they're doing, Toys R Us at one point had hundreds of trademark brands. And for WHP to have done this way is very smart for them. From a strategic standpoint, they're owning multiple points within their own four doors when they get a store open for Toys R Us. Remember, we had talked about this last week. Private label brands and consumables have a much higher margin. The same is true in toys. So if Toys R Us or WHP Global is manufacturing these 20 plus brands, then their cost of goods is much lower because they're not paying marketing fees and all these other things that come with buying brand products into your retail doors. Now, True Kids, which is backed by Solus Alternative Asset Management and funds managed by Ares Management, bought certain intellectual property of Toys R Us and intellectual property from after it filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. So remember, they went and liquidated all the stores. In late 2019, True Kids had opened 2 Toys R Us stores. And unfortunately, its return to physical retail was flatlined by the pandemic. I mean, it killed everything. And the company ended up closing both of those retail locations because, quite frankly, nobody was going to stores. Now, it's interesting to note, the Toys R Us website is still, in fact, up and running, and those orders are being fulfilled by Amazon. Now, retail sales of toys in the US hit just over $25 billion last year, and that's up 16% from 2019, according to NPD Group. Now, that's a big jump. I mean, 16% in a single year in a pandemic. Think about that. Now, granted, toys does include a lot of educational material and things like that, which makes sense from at-home learning's perspective. But that doesn't take away from the good news that with WHP Global coming in, they are going to reestablish the Toys R Us brand. And I personally can't wait to see what they do. I'm super excited about this because the opportunities for an iconic brand like that are so significant. But it takes a special kind of talent to understand the balance between excitement and reality. So what you want to do versus what is feasible. And it also takes a certain kind of talent and creativity to be able to overcome the shortcomings of reality. So by partnering with other brands or companies or like-minded entities for marketing protocol, gets your expansion out a whole lot faster. All right, on a personal note, I have to say I am so proud of my wife, Kylie. She created Tutu Blossom a couple years ago, making tutus for dogs and babies with a portion of the proceeds going back to Rock and Rawhide. Then during the pandemic, Kylie decided she wanted to expand that line to include candles, except she wanted it to be a different name than Tutu Blossom. As we were going through our dog, Snickers, dying of cancer at the time, she aptly named it Snix & Co. in her honor. Well, this morning, Kylie launched an expanded line to Snix & Co. of new products. So head over, as you can see on your screen, go to tutublossom.com to learn more. Sign up for Snix & Co.'s VIP program. I can also tell you from just sitting here as the candles are being made, the smells permeate the apartment and the entire floor of our building. And people love it. I mean, somebody came knocking on our door the other day. Hey, what's that smell? And when I explained it was a candle, they wanted to purchase it, which was really cool. So check that out. All right, guys, I'm out of time. My name is Sean Patrick Hillman. If you have any questions, comments, or story ideas, please email thedailymixtv@gmail.com. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow on St. Patrick's Day.